You know how some guys, no matter what they do, even if they eat healthy food, can't budge those scales? And maybe you don't want to even get on those scales. I know how that feels. I've had clients come and see me. I've been training for over 4 decades, and I've had clients come and see me. They do not want to get on the scales, and they can't budge those scales. Well, welcome to today's episode of Get Your Body Back, when you're going to discover what the fitness industry has been doing to get it completely wrong. And maybe you've been suckered in too. And soon you'll learn the easiest, simplest way to lose fat and get your fitness goal using a unique method I call the King Method. But this week we've been talking about grapes, particularly a guy I used to train who was overweight from eating grapes. He used to say to me they were natural, organic, healthy grapes. Why am I overweight from eating grapes? Well, today I'm going to take you on a journey that's complete from the sinking feeling to the king talking feeling, all 5 phases of my program, and you're going to get to understand why it is you can't lose the weight you're trying to lose, and more importantly, what actually works. So let's go. Let's get down and get into it. Let me paint you a picture, right? This guy comes and sees me, right? He's carrying extra weight, and I ask him, you know, he asked me actually, please don't put me on the scales. He's pleading with me, please don't put me on the scales. I'm wondering what's going on. So I lean in, I'm trying to work out what's going on. He says he avoids the mirrors, he avoids people taking photos of him, he can't put his shoes on again. You know, he's got those pull-up shoes, he can't bend down and tie up his laces. And I'm like, what is going on? He's what I call, in part of our King program, he is in the sinking part of the program. He is stuck. He is stuck in the sinking program. He is completely there. He says, I don't want to go on those scales. He feels guilty. He's almost consumed by his weight gain, if you like. And you'll find out what I mean by that word consumed in a moment. So I asked him, I said, what's going on? He says he's eating grapes and he can't stop eating them. He eats them in his car, he eats them in his desk, he eats them standing in the fridge. Everywhere he goes, he finds himself eating grapes. So I'm wondering what it is. Why is it he's eating grapes? Where is he? Where is he eating grapes? Because he is stuck. He is stuck and sinking, and he can't get out. This guy specifically has tried with other trainers before. He's tried other weight loss programs before, and I asked him. I said, well, earlier in the session, I said, well, what is your favourite food, and what do you eat when no one else is watching you? And he says grapes, and this is why we're bringing up the grape story, because he's stuck in his quicksand feeling. The harder he tries, the deeper he was sinking. That's why I call it being stuck and sinking. And he thought he was eating healthy. He said to me, "It's healthy. Come on, surely it's organic. It's healthy. What's wrong with this?" And he sort of almost proudly announced it. And he's eating. He got really peeved off. He goes, "I'm eating grapes, for crying out loud. How come I'm putting on weight? They're healthy for you, surely." He was confused. He tried everything because he was stuck. So I had to work out what was going on, because every trainer before me has told him, and I'm pretty sure you'd possibly relate to this, they tell you to cut things out. They tell you to get motivated. They tell you, come on, show some more willpower. And it's not your problem you can't get it right. It's their problem because they don't understand what's going on. Most trainers, I call it the unhealthy health industry. Most trainers don't know what's going on, and they try to make you feel weak and guilty. I've seen this in that show Biggest Loser, where the trainers make the clients feel guilty for eating food. It's not about the food they're eating. Okay, and you'll soon learn this. It's not about the food. You should never have to feel guilty about eating food, and never feel guilty about getting on those scales. And you never will again after what I'm about to tell you. So I was asking myself, what's going on? We've got to get into, because he's stuck in that sinking phase. So I said to him, what happens when you're eating grapes? Because I've recognized this pattern before when people are sort of stuck in that moment. I said, what happens when you're eating grapes? And he says, I just feel fantastic. I said, okay, let's dive in deeper. Let's lean in and get really curious with what's going on. I said, why grapes? What is it with grapes? And have a think about what you do. Because for this particular guy, it was grapes. I said to him, why grapes? He says, I just eat them. I said, come on, you can't just eat them. The next bloke I'm going to train, it's going to be, lollies. The next bloke after that, it's going to be beer. Someone else is going to be cigarette smoking. I said, why do you have to eat grapes? He said, is this grapes? I said, no, there's more than this. I'm leaning in. I said, okay, let's have a think about this. I said, when did you first remember eating grapes? And then his face changes. And it all starts to happen. He says, well, I was a teenager. I was working in a chemist. I've been there a couple of days at the chemist, delivering, deliveries, prescriptions to customers and stuff. And then I come back from a prescription delivery and I see her. I go, who? He goes, the girl who worked there, this lady, she was a young chemist. I call her a girl. She was a young chemist. And he described it. It was almost like I could be in real time back to when he was a kid. He was describing her. She was a goddess. She was beautiful, sophisticated. She was probably 25 years old. He's in his 14th, 15th year. This 25-year-old goddess, way out of his league, he said. But then she noticed him and she started talking to him and started smiling at him. And then one day he says to me, she brought in a bunch of grapes, a bag of grapes. And she handed him a grape and said, have you ever tried these? And he went, no, I haven't tried them. And he tasted them for the first time and he bit into it. And he could see in his face, he could feel and taste that moment again. That moment when he was with that lady in the back of the chemist. He's doing the deliveries and she's come out and he's like nervous and shaking. It's so sweet, so beautiful. That grape, was it the grape he was tasting or was it the moment he was tasting? I got it. It's poetic. I could see a picture of what it was like. Almost you watch a video of this. If you shut your eyes, you can think it. You've possibly got your moments like this when you've had this, that first major crush. You probably think, nah, it didn't happen to me. It did happen to you guys. It's possibly happened in a way you don't know. And we had to get back into this feeling for him because we had to get in to the thinking part of the program. Because the thinking part of the program, when you get into the thinking part and try to work out what's going on, then I want you guys to become, which is a really powerful thing, because once you do the thinking program or thinking part of the program, you become what I call one of the thin kings. You become one of the thin kings. You go through the thinking part and acknowledge what's happening. No blame here. We're just acknowledging it. And then you become one of the thin kings when you acknowledge what's happening. Because for this particular guy, it wasn't about grapes. It was about a memory, that unrequited love, the sweetness. We've all been there, and the trainer is going to say what? What's the personal trainer going to say to a guy like him who hasn't done the thinking, acknowledged the thinking phase, hasn't done the thinking? Come on, you got to cut out grapes, you got to cut out chocolate, you got to cut out this. And what's that trainer saying to that guy? I want you to cut out any memory of that goddess. Cut out your first love, your unrequited love. Cut out your crush, that beautiful moment of innocence. 15-year-old kid. How can he be responsible for that? Cut out that memory. He wasn't failing at weight loss. The trainers were failing at the moment he exposed it to the other trainers. They're failing him. Everyone's trying to stop you guys from having that memory. You got to lean in and acknowledge those memories. This is beautiful. This is part of what happens. Every guy knows it. Don't cut it out. You got to honor it. There's no guilt. There's no shame. There's no sinking. There's no sinking. You're not stuck anymore. You honor it. You lean into it. You honor this feeling. Myself, I remember walking into a library. I was about the same age as this guy. And there was this beautiful goddess librarian there. I was besotted. I'd go back to the library every week I could to borrow more books. I dated another librarian in my 20s. There's got to be some connection there. So, we've all got those memories. Don't think it's just this guy. You've got memories. Trust me, you'll find out later they're there. And you'll find out what happened to this guy in a moment, what happened to him, okay? So, we don't sneak around any of those ways. What are we going to do? We're going to do the thinking. Because once we do the thinking, acknowledge it, then we're going to do the thinking. And we do the thinking. So I said to this guy, okay, you're going to get those grapes. You're no longer going to hide them. You're not going to, shove them in your mouth when no one's watching. We're going to get those grapes. You're going to put about 15 or 10 to 15 in a dish, in a plate. You're going to sit down. You're going to turn the TV off, turn the computer off. You're going to be by yourself. And you're going to taste that grape. You're going to pick up that grape. And you're going to taste it like you're a 15-year-old. You're going to shut your eyes. You're going to really smell it and taste it. You're going to really let it go into your mouth and don't chew it immediately, but really taste it. And what comes up, what memories are going to come up for him, whatever it is, it's acknowledgement. It's not a blame. Her smile, the goddess, the feeling, the smell, the chemist, whatever it is. There's a connection between what's in the mouth and what's on the mind. There's a connection. It's not just about the mouth. There's a connection because he was consuming a memory. He wasn't eating food. He was not eating the grapes. He was consuming a memory. There's a big difference. The moment you eat your food, you lose weight and change your shape. That when you are consuming food, you put on weight. And this is going to happen over and over again. So until he does the thinking, acknowledges where he's gone or been, until he starts doing the thinking, which we do in our program in the men's movement, and we get you in the front door challenge, which you'll find out in a moment, that's when he's going to get his results. And it happens so easy. It happens so quick. It's almost like you're cheating. It's almost like you cheat your way to weight loss because the grapes will still be in the fridge. The grapes are neutral. They're not good or bad. There's nothing good or bad about chocolate. There's nothing good or bad about alcohol. It's all there. There's no moral judgment there, right? It's not hiding. It's not consuming. That's the difference. So he gets the table. He pushes the TV away. Pushes his phone away. He eats them. He doesn't consume them. The result, what happens here? Naturally, after you do the sinking phase and after you do the thinking phase, the results are amazing. You lose up to about 3 to 5, maybe 10 kilograms without even doing any moving, without even doing any activity. And that's when it becomes really powerful. What we do next is we become the front door champions and we do the front door challenge. There it is there, and you probably see it on the screen there. That's the front door challenge I'm going to get you to do. And it's on my shirt here too. Where is it? There it is on my shirt. That way. Okay, so we want you to become the front door champions because every day for 30 days, I'm with you every day as you walk out that door. I'm going to be in your head when you become, and it's right back there as well too. You're going to become a front door champion. And every day when I'm training you on these walking sessions and these activity sessions, they're not too strenuous, we consolidate this stuff. And I'm in your ears talking about this and telling you other stories about other clients who've been exactly where you are and I'll share their success with you. And every time you reach for the front door, you're going to be not reaching for the fridge door. Every time you feel like that, you go out, you hit the play again. You can play it as many times as you want during the day and hit down. It's about 30, 40-minute sessions every day. And you head out that front door and you get back home and we consolidate how you're feeling. And that's how we start to really get success. So now we've gone 3 to 4 weeks of the thinking program. We've done 3 to 4 weeks of this, the thinking and acknowledging. Then we do about 3 or 4 weeks of the walking. You're going to become the walkings, right? You're going to become kings in this program. And this is awesome. This becomes fantastic. Let the grapes sit there, eat them consciously, and we do the walking phase. And you're no longer going to be white-knuckling your way past the fridge and seeing grapes and wanting to eat them. You're going to honor the memories. And this is what we do here on the Men's Movement. We honor the memories because we don't want you to feel guilty about not being able to tie up your shoes. We don't want you to feel guilty about getting on those scales again. We want you to be strong, healthy kings. That's what we're going to do here. And so we'll never have to feel guilty about getting those scales again. And you never will. Never will again, guys. But here's what we do next, right? We do the best thing. These two phases are awesome. Can you imagine going to the gym 8 weeks ago? Imagine what this guy would have been like if he went to the gym 8 weeks ago. He's 20 kilograms heavier. He feels guilty. He's stuck. He's thinking. Hasn't done the thinking, hasn't done any walking, and he goes into the gym, presents himself to a trainer. Trainer gets him on a bike, measures his weight, makes him feel guilty, makes him get back in the sinking feeling, and then starts getting him huffing, and he's puffing, and he's feeling pathetic, and he goes back in the sinking feeling. And then he starts feeling hurt and pain because he's 20 k's heavier. His knees are hurting when he's doing squats. He's screaming for pain. You've seen the shows, The Biggest Loser. You've seen guys at the gym, you possibly yourself. This is punishment. This is not training. This is personal punishment. And what does he do? His back starts to get sore. He's sorry about that. His back gets sore. His knees get sore. He's breathing. He's out of breath. He feels pathetic. He's stuck in the sinking phase. And that's where he's stuck. He never progresses. So what we do something which is so different, right? We partner yourself with a gym. You reach out to us and you tell us where you live and we'll partner you with a gym. We'll find a gym which is going to understand this program and we get you doing this phase. Because we want you to become kings. Remember, it's all about becoming kings. We do the bulking phase where you put on the muscle and you start training, but you do it safely. And then because you're doing it safely, you'll go again. You'll do 2 sessions, 3 sessions, maybe 4 sessions at the gym. And you'll keep doing your walking if you want to, because you've got the program for life. You've got that front door challenge for life. And you do the bulking phase. With or without a trainer, you do it, but you're feeling confident. You're walking around that gym, you're strutting around maybe 10, 15, 20 Ks lighter. You are feeling fantastic. You're building strength, definition, confidence. You're building, you know, form. You know how to do these exercises right, because we'll help you do those exercises right. You reach out to us, we'll share how to do those exercises right. You're still going to honor that goddess. You're still going to eat your grapes. You're not going to consume your grapes, but now you're feeling so strong. How good is this? We are doing the bulking phase. We're not sinking. We're thinking still. We're walking. We're bulking. And this is where it starts to become really powerful, right? The next phase is awesome. Let me have a coffee break here. The next phase is awesome because what I'm about to tell you is possibly the most fun part of this program. This is my best part. Have a look at the ticker tape down there. We're going to change the shape of the community one man at a time. One man at a time. So his mates notice him and they see he's changed and they ask him what's going on, and he tells them what he's been doing. And I said, how did you do it? What's your secret to weight loss? He said, well, let me tell you about a chemist. Let me tell you about this chemist. This my first love. And the guy's looking at him like he's a freak because now he's doing the thinking and he's sharing the thinking. Right? And his mate says to him, well, mate, what are you talking about? And he talks about the chemist and the grape and stuff, and he felt like that. It's about honouring memories. And his mate says, oh my God, I've got the same thing with chips. I do that with chips because there was a girl at school who used to be, and then they both start sharing their stories. And then his brother says to him, what have you been doing at a family function? And he starts telling him the same thing about the goddess, about the grapes. And his brother says, man, that was like me with my grandma. Remember grandma used to have the chocolate biscuits? He goes, yeah, but I didn't get in the... Everyone's got different memories. He says, remember Gran with the chocolate biscuits? I have chocolate biscuits all the time. This is powerful, guys. What's happening now is he is doing the talking. He's doing the talking, and the best thing about the talking phase, right? The most powerful thing about the talking phase is when you share that moment, with others, you create a ripple effect that changes the shape of the whole community one man at a time. And we keep doing this, he's going to become the tall king. He's going to become so tall, he's going to stand proud. He's going to be about 15, 20 Ks lighter. He's going to be stronger. His posture's going to be better because he'll be doing the bulking phase. He's done the bulking phase. He's going to do the talking phase. And, I enjoy doing this because I'm sharing. I was a teacher. I share teaching. That's what it is. Teaching is fantastic. It's powerful. If you look back there, right back there, you'll see over here, passion. If you break down that word passion, it means to pass I on. I'm passionate because I pass I on. He is doing the talking and enjoying the talking because when you share what you've learned, you really learn it and understand it. And that's when you get the benefit because you share it with others and you change the shape of the whole community one man at a time. So we're going to go through the whole 5 phases again, right? Because this is what I want to sum up what we've done. Because we no longer are consuming grapes, right? We go through from the sinking feeling, right? We went sinking. We went from the sinking feeling. Then we did the thinking feeling. Remember that? We were thinking. Okay, we don't hide. We acknowledge the goddess. We honor it. We move in. There's a connection. When you eat food, you lose weight. When you consume food, you change your shape and you put on weight. After you've done that, you do the walking. Like we do the walking because we want to consolidate it. And that's when you take on the challenge and become a front door champion. There it is. Become a front door champion and you will change. And you'll probably be about 8, 10K lighter before you go to the gym. And that's when we do the bulking phase. And then the most proudest moment you're going to ever be, you're going to become the tall king. And all the way through, you're doing the king method, guys. And that is the king program here on the Men's Movement. And this is how you transform your body. It's the 5 stages, and this is how you get your body back. You shouldn't have to feel embarrassed about getting on the scales. You shouldn't have to feel embarrassed about having a guilty connection with someone you had a besotto with when you're 15 or 20. You shouldn't have to feel like this ever again. ever again. So if you want to start right now, you can see right back there. You can get a copy of my book. Where is it? Free copy. You can go and get a copy of my book right now, Big Fat Lies, where I talk about this stuff and get you going and get that free gift right now. The link is in the description below if you didn't get that QR code, and you'll never have to be worried about getting on the scales again, because you're going to get the King method and you're going to get your body back. And we look forward to seeing less of you next time. And don't forget to do this if you want to. Do that. My young kid made that. I love it. So subscribe if you want to, and you'll never miss an episode of Get Your Body Back. We'll see less of you next time. Take care. Cheers.
You've been listening to The Men's Movement. Look forward to seeing less of you next time.